right, I think we're going to get going. Everyone, once you hop on, make sure to just introduce yourself. We're so excited that you're here. Do we have more friends joining us? Looks like more.
Yep.
Great. Well, we want to say a special thank you to you, Olivia, for posting. If you guys saw that last week, she posted where she was watching our Instagram live lesson. So thank you, Olivia. That actually inspired us. We want to encourage everyone to interact with us more, post more things on Instagram. So if you can take a picture like Olivia did of you watching the lesson, so have someone take a picture of you, post it on our Instagram page. We're going to enter you in a special drawing and with a very, very special prize, which I'll tell you about later. So Olivia, thank you so much. That's so cool. It looks like you were at the beach. You're in Canada. We have friends from all over joining us, so we're so glad. If anyone, this is their first time, let us know. We love to have your comments, your questions. Every time you make a comment or you answer a question, we're going to go ahead and put your name in a raffle. And every Tuesday at the end of the lesson, we draw some winners. So at the end of this lesson, we have some winners we want to announce. So this week, we're doing two different prizes. So we're doing our regular introduce yourself every time you make a comment raffle, and then the Olivia inspired drawing to take a picture of yourself somewhere while you're watching the Instagram lesson, and we're going to have a special drawing for those kiddos who posted on Instagram. Do we have more friends joining us ready to go? Yeah, great. Well, this is our third week of our Instagram live lessons. Remember, on Tuesdays we focus on elementary school, Wednesdays junior high, and Thursdays high school. We're happy to have you any day to come and join us. If you missed the lesson live, you can check out our website, jaaz.org, and we're saving all of those lessons there. For junior achievement, we focus on work readiness, entrepreneurship, and financial literacy. Last week we talked about financial literacy. We talked about how to save money. And actually on our Instagram page, there was a question for you guys. How do you save your money? So go back and take a look at that. I think on Friday we posted that. And if you want to answer that, that would be great. This week we are talking about work readiness. And today's topic is work ethics. Does anyone know what work ethic is? Have you ever heard the word ethics? It's like a tongue twister for me today. So any comments? Do you know what work ethic is? It's kind of an important, a lot of times grown-ups we talk about ethics, but it's important to talk as a student as well. So feel free as we go. You can go ahead and type in your comments. We'll pause and see if anyone answers. All answers are good answers. We appreciate your participation. Does anyone know what ethics or work ethic is? Did we get any brave souls? Okay, well, come and look over here. This is what they are. Let me show you.
Oh, we did get one answer. It's when you do your work good.
That's great. Thank you. Okay, so here's some definitions of ethics. Ethics are the standards that help determine what is good, right, and proper. Okay, and then when we're talking about work ethic, those are your values and beliefs about every job or task that you do.
Olivia said your moral principles.
Ooh, I love that, Olivia. Yeah, it's your morals. It's when no one else is looking, when it's only you making those decisions. How do you make those decisions? How do you make good choices? So we're going to talk about this. I have some stories to read to you today, and you're going to take a little self-quiz and then help me figure out some ethics of some students. So here's our first story. And this is about a student named Lee. And I want you to think about Lee's work ethic, how his values and morals are. Okay, are you ready? Now, as I'm reading, if you have questions or comments about the story, feel free to post them and we'll have you read your comments. So this is Lee's work ethic dilemma. Maybe you've been in a dilemma with a friend or at school with your family. Lee loves to make extra money by babysitting. She regularly babysits for 4 families. This week she has 2 jobs lined up, one for Wednesday evening while Mrs. Stevens goes grocery shopping, and the other for Friday night while Mr. and Mrs. Lyons go out to dinner. Maybe some of you have been babysitters before. That's a good job. All week, Lee's best friend Melissa has been telling her about a special event for which she has tickets. Melissa's parents bought tickets for her entire family to attend a grand opening party for a music theater. Many bands would perform throughout the evening, including Lee's favorite band, the Y Group. When Lee gets home from school on Wednesday, her friend Melissa calls and invites her to attend the party that evening. Melissa's dad had called and told them he would be working late and couldn't attend the event. Melissa excitedly invites Lee, "You can just tell her you're sick. When will you ever get to see the Y group again? It's free." It was 2:30 and Lee was supposed to be at Mrs. Stevens' house at 5 o'clock. What should she do? So this is where we need your comments and your suggestions. She really wants to go see this, her very favorite band. She gets to go for free, but she already made a commitment to babysit. So what do you think Lee should do? This is kind of a dilemma. Going to the band, that would be really fun to go to the party, but she already committed to babysitting.
Someone said babysit.
Babysit, okay. So say no to Melissa and follow through with the commitment. Would anyone be tempted to say, "Sorry, I can't babysit. I have to go do something else"? Might be tempting.
Olivia said maybe she should go for an hour and then go to the babysitting.
Okay, trying to compromise. Okay. She could call and cancel and tell Mrs. Stevens the truth. Would anyone do that and just say, "I really have this great opportunity and I can't babysit"? I like that she's being truthful. Another idea, she could make up an excuse. She could call in sick. Would that be very ethical? Another idea is to ask Mrs. Stevens if they could reschedule and go another evening. And if she says no, then she can stick with that commitment. If you have another idea, go ahead and add it. Another idea, she could babysit and then meet Melissa at the event after she's done. So again, trying to compromise and make it all work.
Olivia said she could FaceTime her friend.
Ooh, that is a great idea. So she still can feel like she's there, but she's still sticking with her commitment. One idea is don't call and don't show up and just go to the party. Is that a very ethical decision? Well, there's some times that you're going to have to make some choices like Lee, that it might be kind of hard. You want to do something fun, but you've already made a commitment. Someone's expecting you to show up, and you might not know how to decide, how to make that decision. So here are some questions to ask yourself to help guide your decision. So take a look at these questions. So this is what Lee could have done, or you can do when you're just not so sure about your choices. Maybe you guys have already asked yourself this. If you have an example of when you had to make a tough choice, let us know. All right, so questions to ask yourself to help guide your decisions. The first one, would this make me proud? So let's say Lee just didn't show up, went to the party, and didn't let the family know. Would that make Lee proud? Probably not. Here's another question to think about when you're trying to make a decision, ethical choice. How would I feel if everyone I knew found out what I had done? Sometimes, if you're like, oh, if my mom found out I did that, that would not be great. So maybe you can think about that. Another question, is this the right thing to do? Now, the right thing to do isn't always easy, but it is always good. So this might be a tough one. Is this the right thing to do? Has anyone had to answer any of these questions before? Another question, would I want someone to do the same thing to me? So can you imagine if you let someone else down, would you want them to let you down? That's a tough one. What are your thoughts about these questions? Anyone have any input? Those are some tough questions. I think it's important to think about when you're making a choice, would it make yourself proud? You have to live with yourself and you have to live with your choices. So you really want to think about that. All right, while you're thinking about those questions, I'm going to tell you what we're going to do next. And if you have any comments, feel free to add them. We'll come back to them. So hopefully Lee made a good choice in babysitting and going to the party. But I want to ask you questions about you. So you're going to do a quiz. You might have this already downloaded and printed. If not, no problem. I'm going to show you this, and you can think about the answers. This is a self-quiz. What is your work ethic? So I'll go through it, and if you want to add any comments of your answer, remember, every time you make a comment, anytime you make a question, we add you to our raffle. So if you have this in front of you, great. If not, we'll go through it together. This is your self-quiz. What is your work ethic? So talking about your ethics, we're going to talk about different categories. And the first one is dependability. Are you reliable? Now, be honest with yourself. Never, seldom, sometimes, usually, always. Is anyone usually or always dependable? It's okay to say, I am, I'm dependable. Or, nope, I'm not, I need to work on that. This is something to think about. And you know what? You can ask your grown-ups to have them take this quiz and see how they answer if you want. All right. Can people count on you? Do you follow rules? Never, seldom, sometimes, usually, always. So you can think about it. Do you always follow the rules? Can people count on you? I'd love to hear some comments, how you feel if you're being dependable.
Olivia said always.
Always? That is great. That's something to strive for, right? All right, let's take a look at the next category, responsibility. Do you honor your word? While working, do you ever do other things? Remember, never, seldom, sometimes, usually, always. If you see some of your answers are never or seldom, and you really would rather them be a little stronger, that's some areas that you can work on yourself. Or if there are some really strong areas, if you're really dependable and you're very responsible, that is great. You should be really proud of yourself. So let's see. Let's talk about honesty. This is big in your ethics. Remember, we're talking about it's your values and beliefs about every job or task that you do. So honesty, are you true to the promise you make? Never, seldom, sometimes, usually, always. Do we have people that keep their promises out there? Let us know if that's a strength of yours. Are you loyal? Never, seldom, sometimes, usually, always. These can be some tough questions for you guys. Do you work to your highest potential? So a lot of times, like in school, if you're working on a group project, are you doing your very best to work in that group? Or are you really just letting everyone else do the work? Or, if you're babysitting or doing things around the house, are you doing the very best you can? And it might be sometimes, and you need to work on that. We do the best we can. If you never work to your highest potential, then maybe you can, focus on that. All right, let's talk about level of rigor. Okay, there we go. So we talked about, are you a hard worker? Do you work to your highest potential? Let's talk about level of initiative. All right, I want everyone to answer this for me. Do you do work that is not required of you? So if your mom asks you to wash your breakfast dishes, you have a bowl and a spoon, but you see some other dishes in the sink, do you do all the dishes, or do you just do your bowl and your spoon? Let's get some comments about that. Do you do more that is required, or if something is not required, do you keep going above and beyond? Do you work, I'm reading sideways here, do you do your job well and leave, or do you offer more of yourself free of charge? So maybe that's just going above and beyond, staying a few extra minutes, or offering to do a little more work. Has anyone done a little bit more than it's expected of them?
Someone said yes all the time, and I did it yesterday.
Oh, I love it. Thank you for commenting. That's great. It feels good when you can do more than that's asked of you. Sometimes you only have so much time and energy, and you just do what you have to. But then other times, it's nice when you can do more than it's expected. So this might have given you some things to think about what your work ethic is. You can download it if you want and print it out and keep it handy. Maybe ask a grown-up to see what they think their work ethic is. Any other comments or questions? All right, feel free to add some comments as we go. I'm going to go ahead now and read. I have 2 stories to share with you, 2 different students. And I want you to listen to the story, and then you're going to decide what you think that student's work ethic is. If it's strong, average, or weak. So just being aware of what we talked about, we have all these categories about what work ethic is. We know that work ethic is our values and beliefs about every job or task. So now I'm going to read about Sally. You guys ready for Sally's story? And I want you to think about her work ethic, okay? And you can add comments as we go. And here we go. So Sally volunteered to run the lollipop booth at her school's Halloween carnival. The principal allows only the most responsible fifth graders to run the booths. So far, so good. Sally was excited when she was selected. She arrived early, set up her booth beautifully. She worked hard on the sign that read, "The Lollipop Game, 25 cents a try." Everyone who paid 25 cents would get to choose a lollipop from the display. If the lollipop chosen had a black dot on the bottom, the person would win a prize. Have any of you done that before? Sally did a great job running the booth. She carefully collected and stored the quarters and gave out prizes accordingly. Her friend Sarah came up to the table while she was working. There was a long line of people waiting, but Sally wanted to chat with Sarah while she worked, which was not easy to do. As they finished talking, Sarah asked if she could have a lollipop. What do you think she should say? What do you think Sally should tell her friend? Well, Sally told her that she needed to pay 25 cents. Sarah handed over a quarter and grabbed a lollipop. The boy at the front of the line complained, "Hey, that's not fair. She didn't wait in line." Sally told him she would give him a prize if he didn't tell. She showed him where one of the lollipops with the dot was and sent him off with the prize. All right, so let's take a look about Sally's work ethic. Do you think it's strong, average, or weak? We would love your comments. What do you think? How do you think Sally did with that job? Did she make some good choices and then some not so good choices?
Steve Ford said average.
Oh, great. Yeah, average. Yeah, there you go. Average. I mean, I know it's hard when you have a friend that you want to make that friend happy, but you need to follow the rules. That can be a little sticky.
Most people are saying average.
Most people are saying average. Yeah. What could she have done differently to make her work ethic a little stronger? How could she have handled that a little differently?
Elle said she was good at first.
Yeah, at first she was starting strong, wasn't she, guys? And then letting her friend take the candy, and there was a long line. That wasn't the best choice, right? All right, so you can see it's not just black or white. It's not just good or bad. There is, there's some wiggle room. But hopefully you guys saw that there's some choices that Sally could have made a little different. All right, we have one more story. You ready for Johnny? And feel free to comment as we're reading it. And so you guys are going to decide if his work ethic, strong, average, or weak. Okay? And I want you to think about how would you handle things differently than Sally or Johnny. So here we go. Here's Johnny. Johnny started his own business mowing lawns in his neighborhood. He mows the lawn at 3 houses on Saturdays, but he really hopes to get more customers. On Wednesday evening, Johnny's mother escorted him from door to door, where he introduced himself, offered his services, and left each neighbor with a piece of paper he had made with his name and phone number. That Friday, 2 more neighbors called to hire him to mow their lawns. Do any of you mow lawns for money? That's a great idea. On Saturday, he woke up early and completed mowing the lawns of all 5 houses. Johnny noticed that one of his customers, Mrs. Collins, had a flower bed full of weeds. After he finished mowing her lawn, he spent an extra half hour pulling the weeds out of her garden. As she paid him for mowing the lawn, she noticed the work he had done on her flower bed. She was so pleased, she offered him an additional $5. Johnny politely refused, stating that it was all just part of his job. All right, what do you think? What was Johnny's work ethic? Was it strong, average, or weak? Should he have done anything differently, or do you think he handled things well? Let us know your thoughts.
Getting a couple strong answers.
A lot of strong work ethic. Yeah, let's see. Was he dependable? Yes. Was he responsible? Yes. Honest? He sure was. Was he a hard worker? Absolutely. And level of initiative. He could have taken that extra $5, but he said nope. He really wanted to go above and beyond. That kind of is like what we were talking about, the level of initiative. Do you offer more of yourself free of charge?
Yep. Elle said he was nice to do more.
He was nice to do more. That's great. Do you think that's going to help him get more customers by doing a great job for his current customers? I bet so. Any other comments about Johnny? Do you guys agree that his work ethic was strong? Yeah, he did a great job. All right, I appreciate all those comments. Yeah, so as you can see, Sally started strong, made some choices that weren't so great, but Johnny, he did a really great job. So your work ethic, your morals, and your values, everyone is different. We talked about on our self quiz, you know, it's not just great or horrible. There's kind of some gray area. So as long as you know what are your strengths and weaknesses and you figure that out, you know, you have time to learn and grow. Any of you that have jobs now around the house or your neighborhood or in the community, you know, think about these things as you are working or as you get older and get jobs. It's really important to have a great work ethic. So you guys, thank you for those comments. It makes such a difference to have you talk back to us. It's really nice. So we're going to end the lesson with that, but we're not done because we do have the raffle. Are you guys ready to see who won? This week, we have more shirts. We have some Raising Cane shirts. Raising Cane is one of the businesses in our JA BizTown too. So we have some t-shirts. So if you win, make sure we get your address. We'll contact you and we'll send out some shirts. Next week, we'll have 2 different raffles. Remember, we'll have, every time you comment, you get your name in here. We have different prizes than shirts. But then also, we would love for you to get a picture taken wherever you're doing your lesson. Post that on Instagram. We'll put you on in a special drawing, and I'll tell you about that next week. I think you're going to really want to win that prize. It's super cool. So let's see. The first person who won a shirt is Stephanie Johnson. So if you're on, Stephanie, let us know. If not, we'll get in touch with you so we can send you your shirt. So thank you. We had so many entries. That means a lot of you commented, made questions and comments. We love it. All right, the next winner is Christian. Looks like Christian is age 6, and we're happy that you won, Christian. So let's see, we have 2 more. Brenna, you won a t-shirt as well. And last one is Beckett and Barrett. So they're together. So it must be one family, Beckett and Barrett. We will send you your shirts. We'll get in touch with you. Make sure we get your address and get everything sent on the way. Any last questions or comments? You guys have some homework to do, right? You have pictures to take and post on Instagram. Take a look at Friday, our challenge of how you save money. Go ahead and post that. And if you have any other questions or comments, we would love to hear from you. And thank you so much for joining us. Tomorrow, we're talking about work readiness as well. It's geared more towards junior high kiddos, but anyone is welcome. And Thursday, we'll be back with a high school lesson. So we'll see you tomorrow morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Any last comments before we go? All right, we love that you're here. Thank you so much for being here.